Hi, I'm Davy. I'm awesome. And welcome to Davy's Awesome Wrestling, where I review wrestling-related things all from the perspective of a fan, not an insider. So this week, we had AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling's joint pay-per-view, Forbidden Door 2023. It was now becoming an annual pay-per-view, and I'm excited about that. Awesome dream matches galore. Let's get into it. The opening match was for the AEW Championship. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus champion MJF. A second chance for Hiroshi Tanahashi, as last year he took on Jon Moxley for, at the time, the interim AEW Championship. I gotta say, this was a great opener. I mean, of course, it's a cool matchup of MJF versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. MJF, of course, being just an old-school, dirty heel, constantly taking shots at Tanahashi. Heck, taking shots at New Japan Pro Wrestling, saying that it's an indie league. It's not. Not to mention, in MJF fashion, cheap shot after cheap shot, dirty move after dirty move. But of course, Tanahashi, he's able to fight back hard. But after MJF got the referee distracted, he did what he's known for. He took the AEW Dynamite Diamond Ring, hit Tanahashi in the face with it, and got the pin, retaining his AEW Championship. Like I said, it was kind of predictable. I didn't think that Tanahashi was going to win the AEW Championship, but still a very good match, and I would easily give it a 4 out of 5. The second match, a quarterfinal match in the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament, as Satoshi Kojima took on CM Punk. And CM Punk came out to a mixed reaction, which is right now common. If he's in Chicago, they cheer their heads off. If he's outside of Chicago, it's like half boo, half cheer. Not only that, but I also thought it was kind of cool that CM Punk came out in trunks that were definitely a tribute to Owen Hart's New Japan Pro Wrestling attire. This match was really good, had some great back and forth, and at one point, CM Punk pulled out a move that I haven't seen him do in a while, the Anaconda Vice. It didn't work, but he used it. Then after a lot of close calls and reversing finisher after finisher, Punk finally got the GTS on Kojima and got the pin, advancing in the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament. And I would give this match a 4 out of 5. Yay! Then for the AEW International Championship, champion Orange Cassidy versus ROH Pure Champion Katsuyori Shibata versus Daniel Garcia versus NJPW World Television Champion Zack Sabre Jr. So basically everybody in this match had a championship except Daniel Garcia. Then again, at least he took plenty of dance breaks. I gotta say, it was an exciting match. There was so much back and forth. Literally several times, 3 of them or 4 of them at the same time would just sit there and trade shots over and over again. It was really cool. Not to mention, everybody in this match is like a 5-star wrestler. So it was a little hard to keep up with the match, but in a good way. Not like it's hard to keep up because what the hell is going on, but more like it's hard to keep up because you blinked. Like, that was just it. You couldn't look away. Then at the end of the match, Shibata got the PK onto Daniel Garcia. Orange Cassidy pushed Shibata out and took his pin, retaining his AEW International Championship. Honestly, I didn't know how this match was going to go. I figured any one of these guys could end up as the International Champion. And then after the match, Zack Sabre Jr. made it very clear he was not happy and even said it wasn't over. So honestly, in the future, I would love to see Orange Cassidy versus Zack Sabre Jr. just one-on-one. This match, though, like I said, very exciting. 5 out of 5. Then the open challenge for the IWGP World Championship. Jungle Boy Jack Perry versus champion Sonata. Of course, Jack Perry accepting the challenge because he has made it his goal to win a singles championship this year. And so far, every chance he's had, he's come very close, but fallen short. As far as the match itself, honestly, it wasn't that great. I mean, there were a couple of cool moves, like when Sonata twisted Jack Perry up into a pretzel. But ultimately, I really expected more out of this match from these two. And I was a little disappointed. Especially even the way it ended. It was kind of lackluster. Sonata got a moonsault on the Jack Perry and pinned him. But one thing that redeemed it was after the match. After the match, of course, Jack Perry's friend Hook was out there supporting him. They were walking to the back, and Jack Perry turned on Hook. Laid him out on the ramp. Of course, the crowd chanting, "You effed up," and from what we've seen from Hook, that's very true. But we'll see how this goes. What makes me excited about that is instant heel turn for Jack Perry, and I think that's what he's been missing this whole time, is just a little bit of edge. He just needs a little bit of that mean streak in him. So before this story being told, I was honestly only going to give this one a 2, just because it was just okay. But with that in there, bumped it up to where I would give it a 3 out of 5. Yeah! Then a 10-man tag. Eddie Kingston, Tomohiro Ishii, and the Elite versus the Blackpool Combat Club, Konosuke Tezuka, and Shota Umino. It was what we were expecting it would be. It was really good. A lot of craziness. A crazy moment I would be remiss not to mention was when the Young Bucks were holding up Takeshita while Hangman Page from the apron ran over, did a shooting star press onto him. That was freaking cool. One thing I also liked about this is in a 10-man tag, there's usually some people who don't do much. Not everybody can get their time in. They made it so that everybody could get their stuff in. And I will say the star of this match was Ishii, who after his vertical brainbuster onto Wheeler Yuta, got the pin. This match was exciting. This match was great. And obviously this is not done between the Elite and the BCC. So I will give this one a good 4 out of 5. Yeah! Then, for the AEW Women's World Championship, NJPW Strong Women's Champion Willow Nightingale versus AEW Women's Champion Toni Storm. It was a good match. You know, Willow showed a much more aggressive side, like when she did a Death Valley driver onto Storm onto the apron. Of course, throughout the match, the Outcasts were getting involved until the referee finally banned them from ringside. But Storm didn't need them. She still has her dirty tactics, like a thumb to the eye of Willow Nightingale, which led to her being able to get the Storm Zero under Willow Nightingale and get the pin, retaining her AEW Women's World Championship. Like I said, it was a good match, but it was predictable. I had no belief whatsoever that Willow Nightingale was going to walk out as the AEW Women's World Champion. Nothing against her. She's great. She's got a great future ahead of her, but I don't feel like she's ready for that. But it was still good. Easily got its solid 3 out of 5. Yeah! Then the frickin' match of the night. The rematch from Wrestle Kingdom for the IWGP United States Championship. Will Ospreay challenging champion Kenny Omega. Honestly, I didn't know if this match could live up to the Wrestle Kingdom match, because that match was fantastic, but so was this one. This match was incredible. From the moment it started to the moment it ended, which was a long time. It was a long match, like a good 30-40 minutes. Wasn't expecting it to go that long because I wasn't keeping track, but oh my goodness. Even though it was a long match, it kept your attention the entire time. Of course, there were some big moves, like not to get outdone by Hangman Page earlier. Will Ospreay put Kenny Omega on the ropes and did a shooting star press onto his back. But even the story being told, like Will Ospreay getting some payback for some of the stuff that Kenny Omega did to him at Wrestle Kingdom. Like when he was slamming Ospreay's head into the table, Ospreay got him back. But then Kenny Omega got some payback for him doing that by slamming his head into the steel steps. And after that, both men were bleeding like stuck pigs. Of course, Don Callis was there against Kenny Omega. He had gotten kicked out at one point, but came back. Fine be damned, he didn't care. Slipped Ospreay a screwdriver, which Ospreay was able to use to get out of the One-Winged Angel. So then Ospreay tried doing a One-Winged Angel to Kenny Omega himself. Kenny Omega kicked right out. 1 count. Pissed him off. But after more and more intense fighting, back and forth, reversing each other's finishers, Will Ospreay was able to get a second Stormbreaker and get the pin and regain his IWGP United States Championship. And by the end of this match, man, was I emotionally exhausted. It was so freaking good. And obviously, I couldn't do any less than a 5 out of 5. Yeah! Then, the 6-man tag. Minoru Suzuki, Chris Jericho, and Sammy Guevara versus Sting, Darby Allin, and Tetsuya Naito. And as a nice touch, Sting came out in his Sting Joker face paint. I gotta say, this match was good. It was entertaining. It's just unfortunate that it had to be right after a match that stole the show the way it did. But it was still entertaining, especially when the sports entertainers took their pose. But it did end a little lackluster. Ended with Naito getting a roll-up pin on Minoru Suzuki. Good, just kind of hoping for a stronger finish. However, they didn't really get much time to celebrate, as before they could even get their hands raised, Chris Jericho came in and started attacking Naito with a bat, which Sting took away from Jericho and hit him with it. Both of them like to take bats out there. And furthering this story of finally getting a Sting versus Chris Jericho match. We'll see where that goes in the future. It's pretty exciting. And this match, I will say, it definitely earned its 3 out of 5. Yeah! Then the main event. For no actual title except for Best in the World. Bryan Danielson versus Kazuchika Okada. Another nice touch was Bryan Danielson coming out to the final countdown. I will say this. It was a great way to end the night. A classic between these two. Not a bunch of flashy stuff going on. Mostly just straight up wrestling. I mean, don't get me wrong. There were a couple of high spots, like a tombstone outside on the ramp. I also like that whereas Danielson is still all about competition, he's a heel now, so he's not above cheating. Like when he faked convulsing, like he was injured, just to be able to get the upper hand on Okada. And even the way it ended with Danielson getting a very painful looking twist, arm trap submission thing onto Okada to the point that he had no choice but to tap. Because you could tell that hurt. I don't think there was a way to fake that move hurting. Like I said, this match was fantastic. Honestly, if it had been on the card without the Kenny Omega Will Ospreay match, it would have been match of the night. But it still got its 5 out of 5. So AEW versus NJPW Forbidden Door 2023, like last year, was so freaking good. Honestly, I look forward to a third Forbidden Door because, man, this is all so great. Even though there's only so much build-up because it's one company versus another, they do it very well. They give you enough build-up, they get you invested, and then they put together these dream matches. Granted, the match of the night being Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega was a dream match that we'd already seen at Wrestle Kingdom, which at the time kind of made me go like, I was kind of hoping he'd fight somebody new, but never mind. I'm okay with it because it was so good. And it's rare, in my opinion, that they can do a match that great and then outdo it. But in my opinion, they did. There were a couple of 3s in here. The 6-man tag, I feel, only got a 3 just because I was just too spended at that point to get that into it. It was good, but it was kind of like watching Chris Jericho and Triple H right after The Rock versus Hogan. It was hard to be as into it as I should have been. There was only one match that I was a little disappointed in, the IWGP Championship match, just because I felt it could have been better between those two. However, it did tell a story, so it redeemed it enough. There were 3 5s, 3 4s, and 3 3s. So it basically evened out. But the thing is, to get that many 4s and 5s in one event, that's just exciting. I love it. I love the dream matches we get from Forbidden Door. It's fantastic. I hope they do 3, 4, 5. Hope they do 20 Forbidden Doors in the future. Because 2 years in a row, it has knocked it out of the park. And 2 years in a row, I'm giving the whole event a 5 out of 5. Yay! So there you have it. That's my wrestling review this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell so you get notifications for when I post new videos, and leave a comment. Tell me what you thought of Forbidden Door 2023. Love you guys.